Most of us learn early on that making money works like a simple trade. You clock in, you work for an hour, and you get paid for an hour. But there is a hard physical limit to that system. No matter how hard you push yourself, there are only 24 hours in a day, and eventually you run out of time to trade. To move past that limit, you have to break the rule entirely. It is a concept so effective that Albert Einstein famously called it the eighth wonder of the world. Decoupling your income from the clock is the foundational step to building lasting wealth, letting your money do the working for you. We are starting with two identical blocks of $10,000. On the left, we have simple interest. This means you earn a flat percentage only on your original starting deposit. If you leave that money alone at an 8% return for 30 years, it grows slowly and steadily. At the end of 3 decades, you have $34,000. Compound interest on the right works differently. Every dollar of interest you make loops back in and starts earning its own interest. Your money makes money, and then that new money makes money. Over the exact same 30 years, at the exact same 8% rate, compound interest turns that original $10,000 into more than $100,000. If you look at the formula behind this, it looks like something out of a graduate physics class. It is full of exponents and variables that can feel completely overwhelming. But you don't need to be a math professor to use it. You just have to think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. As it rolls, it gathers snow, getting heavier and wider all on its own. Let's see how this snowball works in the real world by looking at 2 different investors. First, we have early Emma. At age 25, she starts setting aside exactly $200 every single month. Then we have late Larry. He also sets aside $200 a month, but he waits to start until he's 35. This chart tracks their progress until they both retire at age 65. Over those 30 years, Larry out-of-pocketed $72,000 of his own money. Emma actually stopped contributing at age 45. Because of that, her total out-of-pocket investment was significantly less. She only put in $48,000. But let's look at the final results assuming an 8% average return. Larry walks away with about $326,000. Emma finishes with over $702,000. Emma invested less cash than Larry, but ended up with more than twice the wealth. Because compounding accelerates over time, giving your money an extra 10 years to grow does far more heavy lifting than decades of extra cash deposits. If you want to know exactly how fast your own snowball will grow, there's a quick trick called the Rule of 72. Just divide the number 72 by your expected interest rate. As this breakdown shows, at an 8% return, your money will double in size every 9 years. But this mathematical force doesn't care who it helps. It is completely neutral. And just as it can build your wealth, it can also operate in reverse. When you borrow money on credit cards, you are usually dealing with an annual percentage rate of 20 to 25%. That is compound interest working against you. Imagine you put $5,000 on a card and only make the minimum payments. Because interest is continually added to your total balance, it can take you over 15 years to pay it off. Over that time, the interest charges alone will cost you more than $10,000. You end up paying double the original purchase price for the privilege of borrowing the money. The rule is clear. When compound interest works for you, it builds wealth. When it works against you, it keeps you broke. To make sure this math is working in your favor, you need the right tools. For cash you might need in an emergency, a high-yield savings account is a secure, low-risk place to let your money earn interest safely. For long-term growth, index funds that track the top companies in the stock market, like the S&P 500, serve as an engine for wealth. Your money grows both when the stock prices go up and when those companies pay you regular cash dividends. And if you use special retirement accounts, like a Roth IRA or a 401k, you can actually shelter that compounding growth from being taxed by the government. You don't need a massive inheritance or a degree in finance to make this work. You just need to give the math enough runway to get off the ground. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. The same is absolutely true for your investments. Look at your own timeline. What age were you when you made your first investment? Or what age are you starting today? Let me know down in the comments.